My fellow hungry travelers, Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in San Francisco, and today we're going to talk about what you should eat when you come here to San Francisco, because you know what? You don't have to eat like the inmates on Alcatraz. You can eat fantastically when you are here. And so I want to give you some of the kind of main staples, the traditional foods you should have when you do come here to San Francisco. And the thing is, if we think about food from San Francisco, probably the most famous food from San Francisco that people really associate with San Francisco is sourdough bread. And yes, there's tons and tons of bakeries around town. Heck, you can go to Fisherman's Wharf and have one of the famous bakeries here and have their sourdough when you're here. But sourdough bread, because of the climate that's right here, and you'll notice if you go 30 miles outside of town, the weather is completely different. But this climate has actually helped that sourdough get the taste that it has. So when you here, have the sourdough bread. And the best way, I think, for you to get a 2-for-1 if you're trying to get sourdough bread is get clam chowder in a sourdough bread bowl. And that is something that's truly San Francisco, because yes, you can have clam chowder anywhere you go in the world, New England clam chowder, whatever, but here they put it in that sourdough bread bowl. Oh, so good. So you get two for the price of one when you get that clam chowder in the bread bowl. So that's two things you really should have. And when you come here to San Francisco, since it's on the coast, you have so many different great seafoods you can have when you're here. One thing you really should try is Dungeness crab. And I will tell you this, Dungeness crab is not like when you're going to get your crab legs at Red Lobster. It is a different type of crab than snow crab and snow crab legs and stuff like that. So what I would say is if you're going to have Dungeness crab and they haven't already taken it out for you, they just bring it to you, it's okay to ask the people there, could you help me? Can you teach me how to get the meat out of a Dungeness crab? Because it is a bit different. And if you don't want to do the work, you can actually get crab LOUIE, which is basically like a crab salad. So it's the Dungeness crab, which if you didn't know, is a little bit sweeter than kind of like snow crab legs and stuff. In there's asparagus, you have iceberg lettuce in there. There's these green chili peppers that are all chopped up in there, like a mayonnaise base, some egg. I mean, it's just really kind of a fancy crab salad, and it's one of those more refreshing things to get when you are here. But I will tell you, with the weather in San Francisco, you don't really need to refresh very often, because it's usually kind of cool when you are here, which is helpful with seafood because, hey, it helps keep it fresh, I guess. And I think another really important seafood you should have when you're here, shellfish at least, is Pacific oysters, and they are delightful. If you get it with a little bit of the horseradish on there and some of the other things on there, it's so good. And they'll serve them different ways for you, but just Pacific oysters on the half shell, get 6 of those as a starter for yourself, or maybe a dozen if you and your sweetie are here. It's well worth getting, and they are phenomenal. And the thing is, if you're looking for something a little more hearty, you could actually go with Ciopino. And Ciopino is basically a seafood stew. So it's got tomatoes in it, it's got shellfish in it, it's got fish in there, and it's one of these things that Italian immigrant fishermen that came here to San Francisco developed it themselves. So there'll be calamari in there, there'll be clams in there, there'll be mussels in there, and it's just this really wonderful kind of broth that's in. So you want to have that when you're here. And if you're in North Beach, there's a lot of Italian restaurants there you can get it at, but I mean, you can get great pasta there too, you can get great pizza there too, so you have that. I mean, there's no problem eating well when you are here in San Francisco. That's why if you want to kind of explore out more, San Francisco has some of the best Asian restaurants in the United States. And yes, you can go to Chinatown and go there and have dim sum, like the little bunch of different dumplings to try. Oh, it's so good. I highly recommend it. But if you want to try nicer Chinese food, really good Chinese food, here's fantastic. Japanese food, Korean food, Thai food. So many great Asian cuisines here in San Francisco that if you haven't had some kind of Asian cuisine in the US before, or you haven't got a chance to travel there, this is the place for you to try it, and you really learn if you really love it. And believe me, you will, because oh my god, it is so good when you're here. Though I will tell you one thing, I have to warn you, one of your favorite Chinese add-ons whenever you get your takeaway Chinese food isn't actually Chinese. It's from here in San Francisco, and that's fortune cookies. Yes, fortune cookies are actually from San Francisco. You can actually do a tour to see where they're made, all right? So just know that, yeah, that I thought it was the most Chinese thing we got in every meal. No. It's right after crab rangoon in terms of really Chinese. Another neighborhood I recommend you going to look for food is actually the Mission District. You have really great Latin American cuisine that's there, and I think one of the kind of fusion-y kind of things that's come about over the years are Mission Burritos. And you know what burritos are, you have them all the way. These are kind of like what inspired Chipotle, because you'll have the meat, you'll have cheese in it, sour cream, guac, you'll have rice, you'll have beans. I mean, it is a full meal, and if you get a Mission Burrito or just a burrito, you're gonna be more than full, okay? I'm just gonna tell you that right now. They'll wrap it up in the tinfoil. You'll probably eat half of it, take the rest home for later because it'll still be good. But honestly, if you're in the Mission District, you'll find a lot of Latin American cuisine there and you can really enjoy it. Now, if you're looking for something sweet that's famous from San Francisco, you have Ghirardelli chocolate. I mean, there's Ghirardelli Square you can go to, see how they make chocolate. There's Ghirardelli chocolate stores around town. You can go and have that, and it's a little bit bolder chocolate flavor, and you can get the chocolates, of course, but probably the thing that people recommend, like I was at a restaurant over here, they're like, don't eat our dessert. Go down to Ghirardelli and have their sundae with their chocolate on it. I'm like, okay, I'll go do that. But yeah, Ghirardelli chocolate is actually from here, so it makes a good gift to take home to your family and friends as well. The thing is, San Francisco has given us a lot of really good foods, a lot of good treats in the US over the years. Did you know the kind of American version of Irish coffee? That's from here in San Francisco. Yeah, you can go to the Buena Vista Cafe and they'll put it together just right with the right amount of hot coffee, the right amount of Irish whiskey, and the right amount of, whipped cream. You can't go wrong. Even the sea lions are barking for it because they know how good it is. And if you're looking to find that Irish coffee, the original one, the Buena Vista is literally where you're hopping on to get the cable cars. I mean, like, look, they're backed up right here. We have Fisherman's Wharf. It's literally right there. You're walking from kind of like Pier 39 and going to the Ghirardelli, you'll pass it on the way. So if you want to have that Irish coffee to get you through the morning or afternoon or early evening, Buena Vista's right there, right by the cable cars and down the street from the bottom of Lombard Street. So FYI. Also, if you're looking for an after dinner treat or just when it's a warmer day kind of treat or any kind of treat, there's a bunch of ice cream places around town. Bi-Rite's one of the ones here in San Francisco you can get. I have roasted banana and creme brulee, lots of cool flavors, and they're quite tasty. So maybe grab some ice cream when you're going around too, for an extra little bite to eat when you are here in San Francisco. Also, if you've ever had green goddess dressing, yeah, the green goddess salad, that's from here as well. So that dressing, that's from here too. And some people even say the martini is from San Francisco. So you have all kinds of great things to try and thank San Francisco for. It's not just sourdough bread. And if you're looking to come here, I think there's some things you should know about eating in San Francisco before you come. One, don't think restaurants are open all day. Like, some restaurants are only dinner restaurants and some are only open for lunch and then they close in the afternoon and then they reopen at dinner time. So make sure you're checking what their hours are before you go to that restaurant. Also, probably a better thing to do is to make reservations, especially on the weekend, especially during tourist times. You want to have reservations, especially at night or even during lunchtime, for some of the more popular restaurants around town because there's some fantastic restaurants here and you definitely want to go to. So make sure you are making reservations. One thing I will say is some places here, I mean, you do tip, I mean, it's the US, but I will just say this, make sure you're looking to see if they already added the service charge on to your bill, because that might be something you want to look at, because some places have been known to, put a service charge on there and then they leave the little line for your tip and you don't realize they already put it on. So do take a peek at that. It doesn't happen very often, but enough times, and I've been told enough times that I think is important to mention. And if you're looking to experiment on a lot of different foods, you can go to the Ferry Building Marketplace, which has a bunch of different kind of market stalls. You can go there, or kiosk, a little, I think how they describe it, artisanal food places, eateries, to try a bunch of different stuff. You can do that, so there's options. But the thing is, when you go around town, there are so many great restaurants around here. The locals, they don't eat bad. They only eat good, and so you as a tourist will enjoy that. But I will tell you this, eating in San Francisco is expensive, okay? So be prepared for that. So maybe make it so only your lunch is your big meal. You go for something smaller, you get something like the crab shack kind of things on the side of the, on the side of the street and some other places, and do that to save a little cash when you're here, because I'll be honest, with all this great food, your budget will blow up very quickly, almost as fast as your tummy when you eat all the good food here. And for my adult friends that are coming here, obviously wine, I mean, Napa Valley is like right over there. You have lots of great wine when you are here. Also, there's a bunch of good craft beers and local beers you can have too. So there's no reason not to eat and drink local when you come here to San Francisco. So what are some other great things you think people should have when they come to San Francisco? Let us know in the comments below, and I'll say bye from here in San Francisco, right by Alcatraz.